Hi, my name is Madeline Rogers. I'm one of the founders of Chefs for the Marcellus. We're a group that's organizing food professionals in New York State to achieve a ban on fracking. I think it's particularly important to energize people in New York City because fracking is taking place in upstate New York, which seems awfully far away until you realize that the water you drink and bathe in and the food you eat comes from that very region. So that, in a nutshell, is why I started Chefs for the Marcellus, why I've remained involved, and why I'm very passionate that we achieve a ban in New York State. I just want to say one other thing. New York State is such a powerful state. We have media here, we have a large population, and I think if we can achieve a ban in New York State, it will send a strong message to the rest of the country and the world. So, because this is an international issue.
Hi, my name is Hilary Baum, and I'm one of the founders of Chefs for the Marcellus. And we started this organization about a year ago because we wanted to really reach out to professional buyers of locally produced food and beverages, because we thought the people who were really dependent on the food and beverages for their business would be able to really understand what's at stake if fracking comes into New York. One of the things that's really exciting about the work that we're doing is that we've heard from other people around the world who are really interested in our campaign and want to know how do we really approach dealing with the foodshed, and how can they also work with chefs and restaurateurs and other people who are really connected to the source of food in their area to get them to really understand what's at stake and what the threats of fracking really are.
I'm David Troutman. I work with Food and Water Watch as a volunteer and also the Northeast Organic Farmers Association of New York State. I'm interested in protecting New York State's food and water supplies from hydraulic fracturing. I think Governor Cuomo should ban fracking in New York State. I certainly will not vote for you for any other office if you don't place a ban on fracking in New York State. Some of my involvement with the Northeast Organic Farmers Association also revolves around renewable energy projects and the possibility of introducing some of the NOFA farmers to renewable energy as an alternative source of income other than hydraulic fracturing and natural gas.
Hi, my name is Jessica Roth. I'm a fourth generation Brooklynite, and I am here helping Chefs for the Marcellus because this is the biggest fight we've ever been in here in New York. Fighting against fracking is going to hopefully protect our water and our food, our land, our air. It's the wave of the future to fight for what is going to make us safe. So I am essentially an activist with a number of different organizations here in Brooklyn because to me this is such a huge fight that we have to approach it from so many different angles, and there's so many ways and so many reasons that it's so important. So I'm a part of the Brooklyn Food Coalition because I really believe in access to healthy and safe and nutritious and delicious food for everybody on equal footing. And I work with United for Action and Food and Water Watch because they are really focused on the fight against fracking as it is in and of itself. And that really is the fight that is going to protect all of our future right now. We have to keep fighting because once you frack, you can't go back. Once the water's contaminated, there's nowhere to go, and this is what life is all about: water, food, and people.
We're musicians, we're artists against fracking.
We learned about fracking by watching Josh Cox's movie Gaslight, and now we're learning that upstate New York is about to get fracked, and we are very concerned.
We've been lied to. I think a lot of people don't know what's going on. I knew nothing about this until I saw Josh's film, and now I've done a lot more research online. Nick is always looking into more and more information, and it's chilling information, particularly disastrous for a rich place like New York and its watershed is so famous, but basically it's disastrous everywhere that it happens. It's happening, and I had no idea, in my home state of California, where they have earthquake fault lines everywhere, and it's pure insanity. That's really all I have to say.
We started Artists Against Fracking, really hoping that all us, everybody in society, strive towards renewable energy. We really feel like that's the only place for the future.
So yeah, so bands like the one I'm in, Wilco, Chibo Motto, my wife's group, many other artists, writers, actors, musicians have come together in Artists Against Fracking to join with you all, and that's why we're here, and that's what we're trying to do.
My name is Holly Atkinson. I've been involved with Chefs for the Marcellus since December of last year, 2011. I've found out about the campaign through the Food Systems Network NYC, where I'm very active in the food movement in New York. I'm on the board of Slow Food NYC, which is a local organization, chapter of Slow Food USA. We're very concerned with local food systems, water quality, farmland preservation, and the idea of hydrofracturing in our farmland upstate, not just the environmental consequences that are possible from that, but also the effect on farming communities, farmers, farmland, and our water system, strikes me as the worst idea ever. So it seemed like something that was worthwhile getting involved in. The campaign has been focused on chefs because chefs have an audience. They feed people, they care deeply about the ingredients and the source of the food that they serve to their customers. They're concerned about health and environment, and it seemed like a great way to get involved and be able to amplify the message that hydrofracturing in New York State would be a terrible idea. So if I had one thing to say to Governor Cuomo, it's the worst idea ever. Water can never be restored. It doesn't come back. You can pull the gas out. It's a temporary resource. It's not a resource that we should be pursuing, and we'll never get the ecosystem back. So let's not hydrofrack in New York State. I first found out about hydrofracturing probably 2 or 3 years ago. I had never heard of it, and I'm someone who pays attention to environmental issues and environmental threats, and I had never heard of this process. I came across a documentary by a filmmaker named Josh Fox called Gasoline. I saw that film and it changed my whole orientation to getting active in environmental issues in New York State. It didn't occur to me that we had this problem in our backyard. So seeing that film made a huge impact, and ever since then I've been trying to make a difference in whatever way I can to ban the practice in New York State. We don't need it here. There are better ways to stimulate our economy and to take care of the resources that we need.
What we're here to do is celebrate New York's food, right? And celebrate the food that's coming from upstate and from downstate, and that we don't want to see that food get contaminated by this industrialization process known as fracking. And as we all know, that fracking is more than just fracking. The fractures down at the bottom of the wellbore. Fracking is the whole industrial process. It's 1,000 truck trips per well. It's chemical pits that are lining the landscape all over the place. It's trillions upon trillions of gallons of water usage. It involves hundreds of toxic chemicals, carcinogenic chemicals, neurotoxins that they inject down into the ground. And what recently I've been obsessed with is what I believe is an unanswerable question for the industry, which is your well casings, the cement casings, which are supposed to make these wells sealed off from the groundwater, fail at alarming rates. 6% of them fail immediately upon drilling, and 50% fail over a 30-year period, which means you're going to leave a legacy of contamination across New York State that we will never be able to solve. We have to focus on the long-term aspect, we have to focus on the immediate aspect, we have to focus on true sustainability and using energy that doesn't require drilling and fracking. And we can get there. We can run New York on solar, on wind, on geothermal, on hydropower. We can run New York on these alternative renewable energies that are truly clean and truly green, and we need to do that. New York is going to host the biggest fracking rallies that have ever happened. August 26th through the 28th, August 25th, 26th, 27th. Simultaneous rallies in New York City and in Albany. There's going to be a pledge of resistance to sign. We are working out a concert with Artists Against Fracking. We're trying to figure that out right now. So please stay tuned. Go to the Gaslight Facebook page. Go to the Food and Water Watch site, and make sure you're not going to look. New Yorkers, end of August, love to go to the Hamptons, go to the Catskills, go to the Delaware, go to Jones Beach. Why do you go there? Because there's water there, so you can go swimming. That's why you're going. that weekend in August, that last weekend before Labor Day, I'm asking you, stay home for your water. Stay home for your water and go to those rallies. Because if you go to the Hamptons, or go to the Catskills, or go to Bear Mountain, or go to the Jersey Shore, do anything to get out of this city over that weekend, and you come home and your water is contaminated because you didn't turn up, think about which matters more. The water that comes out of your tap, the water that comes out of your faucet, or the water you might flee to that weekend and just say, you know what, we're going to trade this weekend, we'll go away the next weekend, we'll go away the weekend after that, you know. So I'm speaking to those people who, you know, might leave, try to vacate, stay home, come to the rallies, tune into where they're at. And for those people who never have the option of leaving this city, then you're going to have a big party on your hands, because we're going to have some amazing rallies in August in New York City.